everyone, Jessica here and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing another card for my Christmas card series. I'll have the previous video linked below if you'd like to check that one out. This is card number 2. What I have is a cute little set here from Hampton Arts. I think this came out 2016. I found it on clearance actually at a local craft store and it was like 50 cents. I couldn't pass it up. It's cute. It comes with a little die and everything. Can't go wrong with that. This is just a piece of pattern paper from this paper bag. I've had this a little while, so it's been gone through, but I'm determined to use as much of this as I can this year. And then I have some inks I'm going to be using, and I'm going to use one of these Spellbinders dies that I haven't used in a while either. So this is a use my stash kind of Christmas card, and let's get into the video, shall we? Alright, so I have my travel stamp platform and I'm stamping that reindeer. I already tried to stamp him once before. This is on some Fog Cardstock from Simon Says Stamp. It's a really light gray cardstock, and I stamped the wood grain portion for that deer head with the Fog ink, but I had re-inked it a couple times. It's not a very dark ink. I over ink everything, so I did like stamp it 3 times and it kind of just bled together. So then I thought I would try the layer, that outline layer, and as you can see, well, you can kind of see it's a little crooked, so I'm trying this again. I did stamp that Fog ink just once and it worked out very well. It's still super light, so it just gives a little bit of that wood grain texture. It's kind of hard to see in the video and in the pictures, but in real life you can see it. And then I stamped that stitched edge that goes all the way around the deer with the sentiment in the middle with Versafine Oynx Black, and then heat embossed it with clear embossing powder. And that'll really make it stand out. I'm also going to die cut, and this is the die that comes with that little stamp set. I just add a little bit of washi tape to that. That way it doesn't shift in my die cutting machine, and it just pops right out. I went ahead and added another piece of washi tape too because it was kind of like flopping around, so I didn't want it to move at all. Now I have a piece of Simon Says Stamp Mint Cardstock, and I'm going to cut this down to be a card panel, a layering card panel on the front of the card. I don't know why I cut it this way. I don't know. But I'm cutting it down to 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, which is just an A2 size card, but I just cut that piece of paper so weird. That's okay. I'm going to use that extra piece anyways later on for the inside of the card. But I'm taking the slate frame die cut that I had cut from the Spellbinders die. I'm just tracing with a pencil onto that wood grain pattern paper. That way I have guidelines on where to stamp. And this stamp set comes with a small, like a foliage leaf little stamp. And it's kind of curved. And I'm just going to stamp like a bunch of those on the top and bottom. That way they peek out from that dark gray cardstock. And I'm just turning the stamp every which way I can to get a nice cluster, because you're not going to see most of that little cluster underneath the label. And it just looks really nice, gives it a nice little frame. And then I'm also going to do the same kind of stamping all the way around that mint cardstock. I like this tone on tone kind of color of green that I have going on. And I just freehand this. It was also pretty easy to get everything straight. And I'm going to trim it down too, so it'll look even better. And since I'm layering this below that pattern paper of wood grain, it'll look really nice. I'm just going to trim off the edges a little bit. All together I take off 1/4 inch, so this layered piece is 4 inches by 5 1/4. And then going back to that frame with the slate cardstock, I'm going to take Versamark ink and rub it all the way around the edges, and then pour gold embossing powder over the top. This is my favorite technique I think to do, is gold embossing powder. I like the way it looks, that gold framing all the way around, but still kind of messy and distressed. I just think it looks really pretty. I'm going to get that heat gun nice and hot and then melt that using my tweezers because that label's super small and I don't want to burn my fingers. And then I also had stamped that banner that comes with the stamp set. And this one doesn't have a die, but I did stamp it on SSS Black Cardstock with Versamark ink, and then I'm pouring Ranger White embossing powder over the top. Since this one does not have a die, I'm going to go ahead and fussy cut that. It doesn't take too long. It's pretty simple little banner. So now I can start layering this card together. I'm taking my ATG gun. I don't know why I call it ATG gun. I think because that would be adhesive transfer gun. But my ATG, I'm taking my ATG, which is my favorite dry adhesive, and I'm going to add that to the back of that mint and to the back of that wood pattern cardstock and layer those down onto a top fold Neenah 110-pound solar white card base. I added some adhesive real quick to that frame with the gold embossing. I'm going to try to center that. It's kind of hard because those lines for that pattern cardstock aren't necessarily that straight. So I can't use those as a guideline really. And I'm trying to match up that pencil mark that I had done previously before I did that stamping of the clusters. But I think it got on there pretty straight. And then I just erased those pencil marks that you could still see. I also took some white fun foam and that deer head die. That way I could pop up the deer head a little bit. I wanted some more dimension. This was turning out to be kind of a flat card, so I wanted something popped up a bit. And I'm using multimedia matte glue, which is my go-to glue for adhering paper to foam. It's easy and it also doesn't take too long to dry, but I also have a little bit of time to really get that die cut straight on that foam. Then I set it underneath a large acrylic block just for a little while until it dries enough to be able to move. And then I'm going to add some more glue to the back side of that and pop it onto my card front. Also took the banner and added some glue to that and then added that banner to the deer head's antlers. I could have put the banner below the deer head, but I thought that would look kind of fun up above. And then I'm going to take that piece of mint cardstock that I had cut weirdly and I'm going to stamp this Merry Christmas sentiment stamp from Stamp Pendus using Lucky Clover Distress Oxide, which is the same ink that I had used for that little stamp on the front of the card. And then I'm going to adhere that down on the inside. So I really like how this one turned out. It's pretty clean and classic and kind of a non-traditional but traditional with the green and gold colors. So I hope you enjoyed it. And that's it from me. All the products I used today that I could find are linked below and also on my blog. Thank you so much for watching. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you haven't already. I appreciate you for watching. It means a lot to me, and I will see you in the next one. Bye! Meh, meh.